Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth according to the Bible through the spirit and power of YAHWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI. And a sincere peace and salutation to all you hopefully let Akim out there pushing his word in all truth and sincerity, doing the work as YAHWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI has created us to do, so he can wake up and seal the elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and you Israelites who are scattered amongst the heathen nations that may look like the heathen nations, but your father's seed line goes back to you being the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American, one of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. It's Shalom. It's your brother Halakia from the GMS Denver camp coming back once again through the spirit and power of YAHWAH, bahasham, YAHWASHI with another video. And this time I wanted to address a question that was asked to one of the apostles on one of their previous videos. I couldn't find the video because I wanted to put a comment up so I could show it, but the question was from one of the guys from Sakari, man. And they basically asked, was giving birth unlawful? Well, is giving birth a sin? You see? And the short answer to that is no. Giving birth is not a sin. Now, giving birth makes you unclean, but it doesn't make you a sinner. And there's a whole process that the woman has to go through to be cleansed if she has a male child, to be cleansed if she has a female child. There's a whole situation that has to go on with the male child. He has to be circumcised what? On the 8th day. You see, and these are things that we're going to keep in perfection in the kingdom of heaven. Right now, we can't do it that way. You see? In the kingdom of heaven, all women, we are going to have sex with our women, and they're going to bring forth our children. You see, and they will follow those processes to a perfection when that time comes in our perfection in the kingdom of heaven, man. But to say, because this the BS they're on, man. They're just coming out of left field with all these wild questions, and they're just throwing the prophecies out of the window, man. And to show you, so let's go right here first. We're gonna show you that having children is not a sin, man. You see. These dudes are on one, man, and the Most High said these dudes are for a great judgment. So this is Genesis 1:26. It says what? And the Most High said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So the Elohim created man in their own image. In the image of the Elohim created they him. Male and female created they them. And the Elohim blessed them, and the Elohim said unto them, and the Elohim are who? YAHWASHI and the angels, man. You see? It says what? What did they say to the to man? Be fruitful and multiply. That was an ordinance that was given from the Most High through YAHWASHI and his only begotten son and his little brothers, man. The ones who helped YAHWASHI create the Most High's idea of the planet Earth, man. You see? That ordinance of having sex and bringing forth children was something that was ordained by YAHWAH, bahasham, YAHWASHI. So no, it is not a sin. That's what the Most High wants to happen on the earth. That's why he put men and women here. You see? For a man to go into a woman to bring forth a child. That's what be fruitful and multiply means. Have sex and bring forth more children. So the earth can be replenished, you see? It says what? And subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over everything, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. You see? So the Most High gave the ordinance. He set it up for man and woman to have sex to bring forth children. So no, that's not a sin, man. That's something the Most High ordained. You see? And we know that in the kingdom, we are going to have a lot of children. We're going to be immortal, you see? So our seed will never stop flowing, man. Every time we get a wife, our wife will bear us multiple children, man. Our hundreds of thousands of millions of wives eventually, they're all going to bear us children. So no, having a child is not a sin, because let's Matter of fact, let's go into the second covenant, man. Right? Hebrews 8, and we'll start at 1. It says, 7. Hebrews 8 and 7. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. So what's being said right here, if we could have been perfect up under the first covenant, which is what? Trying to live according to the letter of the law. You see, if we could have accomplished that, there would have been no need for the second covenant. So that lets us know that we can't live according to the letter of the law. You see, it is completely impossible for us to do in this flesh. It is completely impossible for us to do in captivity, especially captivity up under the wicked. You see? So there is no way that we could have been perfect according to the first covenant. This is why the second had to be established. Verse 8 says what? And why is that? Verse 8 tells you, for finding fault with them, with who? With us, because of what? The flesh that we reside in for right now. This is our fault, you see? The flesh is our shortcoming, man. The flesh is what keeps us from fully being tied unto YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI. You see? That's why he found fault with us. So Hebrews 8 and 8 says what? For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. You hear that? So this is letting you know who the second covenant is going to be made with. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. All 12 tribes of Israel eventually. But it begins with the remnant of the nation of Israel. All those who have faith in the Lord YAHWASHI is going to be brought up under that covenant first and foremost. You see, 2/3 is going to know it after what? After death by pain. Now verse 9 goes on to say, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers, and the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. Now how was that first covenant made? That first covenant was what? Having the law, statutes, and commandments written on those tablets of stone, and us trying to uphold them in the flesh. That was the first covenant that the Most High made with our forefathers. Some that was impossible for us to do even back then. So how much more so now in this current time we're living in? So the Most High said he's not going to make a covenant with us after that first covenant he made with us when he brought us out of Egypt. Now verse 10 tells us this is the covenant the Most High is going to make with us now. It says what? For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be my people. This is the perfection that the Most High is going to allow YAHWASHI to bring us into when that time comes. He's going to give us new bodies, immortal bodies, righteous bodies. You see, and take us out of this sinful flesh. And he's going to put the laws, statutes, and commandments in our minds, and we're going to be completely righteous. We're going to be perfect according to the laws of YAHWAH, bahasham, YAHWASHI forevermore. Meaning what? We will never transgress even the smallest tittle of the law, man. You see? Everything we do in the kingdom of heaven is going to be to perfection, and that includes what? Giving birth and the circumcision of our sons on the 8th day is going to be right on time, perfect every time, man. You see? Our women are going to be cleansed the way they need to be cleansed. When they have a male child, they're going to be cleansed the way they need to be cleansed. When they have a female child, man, we're going to follow those ordinances in perfection. You see? This is what the second covenant is all about. Hey, and that's when we're going to be able to live according to the letter of the law. The only thing that we don't have to do anymore is sacrifice for sins. Why? Because the ultimate sacrifice for sin has already been made through the flesh of our Lord YAHWASHI. He was that scapegoat. He was that unblemished lamb of you know what I'm saying, of the first year. You see, without spot, without blemish, without deformity, man, perfect. You see, as the Passover lamb is required to be. See, that was the last and final sacrifice that the nation of Israel will ever need, forever. That's the final and last sacrifice that the nation of Israel will sacrifice for sin. The nation of Israel will ever need forevermore. Do you understand that? Do you understand what that means for our people? We're going to be an eternal people, an immortal people, living forever. And every Israelite born into the kingdom of heaven will be born into the second covenant. Why? Because of the sacrifice YAHWASHI made 2,000 years ago. 10 billion years from now, we're still going to be immortal, and YAHWASHI is still going to be covering Israelites born into the world from the sacrifice that he made 2,000 years ago, man. Do you understand the power of that blood, man? Come on, bro. And you dudes is talking about you don't worship YAHAWASHI, and he has that type of power to make every Israelite born from the time we're taken into the kingdom to forevermore completely righteous through the sacrifice that he made, man. Come on, man. You see, but this is what we're being brought into through our faith in YAHAWASHI, not by the letter of the law. And this is what we're saying. You see, we can't come into this great estate of glory that the Most High has promised to give unto us by keeping the laws to perfection, because we can't do it. If that was the case, we would never enter into glory, man. We would never be right in the sight of the Most High. We would never be immortal. We will always be in a constant state of death because we cannot keep the laws to perfection. This is why the second covenant is has to be made, right? Now it goes on to say, verse 11, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. You see that? Because every Israelite born into the kingdom of heaven is going to be in the completely righteous mind frame, and they're going to be in their right mind as soon as they're born. We're not going to have to teach our people the laws because it's going to be in us. It's going to be a part of our DNA. We're just going to do it automatic, man. Like breathing or blinking, man. You see? That's how it's going to be for our people in the kingdom of heaven. All made possible through the sacrifice of YAHAWASHI. Now verse 12 says what? For I will be merciful unto their unrighteousness, which he's doing now, through YAHAWASHI's sacrifice, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. And that's what's happening right now for all those who believe in YAHAWASHI. The Most High is not remembering our sins and our iniquities. He's blotted it out through the blood of YAHAWASHI. You see? So this is what the second covenant entails. No more sin for the nation of Israel forever. And us walking in the ways of the Most High in perfection, right? Now, just to make that point, because when you go, so us being in this completely righteous state, what does that bring us into? That brings us into what? The blessings, right? You see, because according to the Deuteronomy 28, right? Now listen, this is the state we're under now. Because of what? Because we couldn't keep the laws. Deuteronomy 28:15 says what? But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power Yahweh thy power to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. This is the current condition that we're under right now because of what? Our disobedience. You see? Because our failure to be able to be perfect in the law. This is why we're under the curses right now. You see that? But once we're taken out of this flesh, given those new immortal bodies, having the laws, statutes, and commandments put into our mind, man, we're going to be perfect. We're going to be completely righteous. You see? It's going to be automatic for us to walk in the ways of the Most High. It's going to be automatic for us to do everything the Most High needs us to do according to the law in perfection, man. You see? And that's going to bring us up on the what? It's going to take us out of the curses and bring us up into what? The blessings. Now, Deuteronomy 28:1 is the beginning of the blessings, man. Deuteronomy 28:1 through 14, you see, that's the blessing. 15 through 68, those are the curses that we suffer under right now. But let's get it right here in verse 1. It says what? And it shall come to pass, if thou wilt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And this is what YAHAWASHI is going to bring us into if we continue to endure, you see, with all faith in him. You see, we're going to be brought into the state because of what? We're going to be up under that second covenant to be perfect in the law. You see, made possible through what? The faith in YAHAWASHI. We're going to be put above all nations. You see, now I don't want to read all these blessings, but I want to read, let me see, the fourth one. It says what? So one of the blessings that we're going to come up under once we're under that second covenant, you see, is this. Deuteronomy 28:4. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body. What is the fruit of thy body, man? That's talking about your children. So that lets us know that no, having children is not a sin. We're going to have children in the kingdom, man. In our completely righteous state. A state that where we can never go off again. One of the blessings is for us to have a lot of children. You see, to be fruitful and multiply. Let's see what it says in the NLT, man. Deuteronomy 28:4 in the NLT. Your children and your crops will be blessed. The offspring of your herds and flocks will be blessed. You hear that? So that's a point right there to let us know that no, having a child is not a sin. We're going to have many children in the kingdom, man. This ain't the only time the Most High says this in the blessing. So he says it in verse 4, and he also says it down here in verse 11. And Yahweh bahasham YAHAWASHI shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, you see, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, and the land which Yahweh swear unto thy fathers to give thee. See, you dudes are too busy trying to be smart asses, man. Trying to be smart asses and trying to trip someone up because you still trying to act like you can be perfect according to the law when none of you niggas are perfect in the law. You see that you're forgetting the big picture, man. You're forgetting the things that the Most High has promised according to prophecy, man. According to prophecy, the Most High is telling us right here that He's going to make us plenteous in goods in the fruit of thy body, man. That means that He's going to give us plenty. He's going to bless us to have plenty of children. You see? You see that? Deuteronomy 28:11 in the NLT. Yahweh will give you prosperity in the land He swore to your ancestors to give you, blessing you with many children, numerous livestock, and abundant crops. This wasn't talking about here in Babylon the Great. This is talking about when the Lord Yahawashi returns to take us home into the kingdom. So it lets us know that we're going to be having children in the kingdom. Which lets us know that that is not a sin because we're not going to be able to sin in the kingdom of heaven. When the Most High talks about taking us home back to the land He gave unto our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that's Him talking about establishing the kingdom of heaven in the earth. You see? And one of the things He's going to do for us is give us many children, man. That is not a sin. Having children is not a sin. Having sex is not a sin. I mean, unless you're doing it on the Sabbath, then it's a sin. But to have a child is not a sin, man. You see? So another one is, right here, it's like it, Isaiah 60. And this is a whole kingdom dedicated to what? The Most High telling us what He's going to do for us in the kingdom of heaven, man. You see, all this is talking about the kingdom of heaven, all the way down to the 22nd verse. You see, in the 22nd verse goes into what? So when you read through Isaiah 60, this is the Most High telling us, you see through the mouth of Isaiah, what He's about to do for us, man. The type of glory that He's about to bring into us. You see, and the thing is, we read these words, but we still can't even understand the magnitude of what's written right here. Now, we know it's going to be great, but we can't even put it into... We can't even process it or compute it the magnitude of what this is truly going to be until we're actually experiencing this firsthand, man. This Isaiah 60, man, this is going to be out of control. The Most High say He gonna give us gold as brass, man. You see how you can find brass in abundance? He's telling us that gold is going to be that abundant unto us in our kingdom. That's something that we can't even fathom right now, man. That we can't even comprehend it, because you got to understand, the Most High is over the top, man. You see, the Most High ain't on some low level type thing, man. Everything the Most High does is always over the top. You see, and you can see it in His people. Everything Jake does is what? Jake he has to go over the top with it. We get that from our Father, man. You see, so one of the things that the Most High has told us, man, this is Isaiah 60:22. It says what? Now this is in our kingdom, right? It says a little one shall become 1,000. How is that going to happen? By us having sex with our multiple women, bringing forth all of our seed, man, bringing forth all of our children. We're in the kingdom of heaven. You see? A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. You hear that? You're going to have one man that's going to become a nation unto himself. Why? Because we're going to be immortal. We're never going to shoot no blanks, man. Every time we spray on our woman, you see, She's going to bear a child. Every time. That's how blessed we're going to be in the kingdom, man. So if you got 4,000 wives, every time you go in each one of your wives, man, you see, if she ain't already pregnant, she's going to bring forth a seed for you. And that's a part of the blessing, man. So that's not a sin, man. You see? This is what the Most High has promised to do for us out of his own mouth. So why would he put us in a situation to sin against him if his will is for us to be perfect and completely righteous in the kingdom of heaven, man? We're not going to sin ever again once YAHAWASHI returns to come and get us, man. So no, having a child is not a sin. You see? Having a child is not a sin, man. And all we're doing is following the prophecies of what the Most High has promised to do for us. You see, one of those things. Matter of fact, let's see what it says in the NLT. Isaiah 60:22. The smallest family will become 1,000 people, and the tiniest group will become a mighty nation. And that's all stemming from what? From one man. Because that's where the seed comes from. One man plowing and sowing into his wives, man, to bring forth multiple Israelite children. That's not a sin, man. That's a blessing, man. That's a blessing. This is another one. What was that? Damn. What the hell that was? Yeah, Zechariah 8:5. This is another vision that the Most High gave unto our brother Zechariah about the kingdom of heaven, man. Now listen to this. So it goes on to say, matter of fact, we'll start at 1. Zechariah 8:1. Again, the word of Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi of hosts came to me, saying, these men got a problem with everything. They got a problem with us saying Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi. They got a problem with Yahawashi. His sacrifice didn't matter. He ain't important. We can go directly to the Most High. Damn. These dudes got a problem with the whole gospel, man. Hey, destruction is on the way. So Zechariah 8:1 says what? And the word of Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi of hosts came to me, saying, Thus saith Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi of hosts, I am returned unto Zion. And this is what's happening now. You see, especially with the remnant. Now, the Most High is given, you see, a small portion of his spirit for what? For Jake to understand and know that they're Israelites, but that's where it ends for them. They haven't had the what? The breath of life breathed into them to be brought fully to life, because what? They don't believe in YAHWASHI. But for the remnant, the Most High is being fully returned unto the remnant through the Lord YAHWASHI. You see, it says what? And will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. The remnant first and foremost, and Jerusalem should be called a city of truth, and the mountain of Yahweh of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus saith Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age. Now, this don't mean that we're going to be old and gray in the kingdom, because we're not going to age once YAHWASHI comes and put us in those new bodies, man. We're going to be forever young, man. You see, we're going to look young forever. We're never going to age ever again. You see? I'm talking about physical wise, not in the spirit. We will get older, you see? One day we'll be a billion years, but we'll still look like we're fucking 23, 24, however old we're going to look once YAHWASHI put us in the body, man. We're going to look that same way always, but our age, we still will, be adding up the years of how long we've been living. But it doesn't mean we're going to be old and gray and decrepit and so forth and so on, because we're never going to die again. See? So we'll never age like we're aging right now here in Babylon the Great. Body decaying. You see? Hairline gone, knees hurt, toes hurt, so forth and so on. That right there is going to be taken away from us in our kingdom. But it goes on to say, verse 5, it says what? And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. How is this going to be made possible, man? Because we're going to be having sex in the kingdom with all women, and we're going to bring forth multiple children. And those children are going to grow up happy and righteous and free and safe, you see, in their right state of mind, playing in our streets, man, running up and down the streets of Jerusalem and having a good time in the land that the Most High gave unto our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And guess what? We're going to continue to bring forth more children. And this prophecy is going to be fulfilled forevermore. This prophecy right here is going to be fulfilled forevermore, because we're going to always have children in the kingdom, man. And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most. Outside of being made completely righteous and being taken out of this flesh, I'm looking forward to have a gigantic family, man. Not a big. I want a gigantic family, man. And we're going to be bought into that. So no, man. Having children is not a sin. That is a blessing from Yahweh, bahasham, YAHAWASHI. And the Most High has already said that He was going to give this unto us, man. And our children are going to be playing in our land. You see, carefree, worry-free, man. You see? So what else, man? What else can I think that was it, man. Just to make that point. No, man. Having children is not a sin, man. You dudes need to cut it out. And at the end of the day, you niggas is being set up for a great destruction, man. The Most High gonna end up doing something horrible to you dudes if you don't repent. Point blank, period. Coming with all this fucking madness, man. As close as we is to the end, you niggas are coming with this shit. But at the end of the day, you have been ordained to this condemnation before the foundation of the world was laid. This is what you were made for. You see? So yeah, man, just wanted to bring those points out real quick. No, man. Having a child is not a sin, because we're going to have multiple children in the kingdom of heaven. Thus saith Yahweh, bahasham, YAHAWASHI. You see? And so with that, I'm going to give all praise, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, qadash. A double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth according to the Bible, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, and a sincere peace and salutation to all you hopefully let I get out there, pushing His word in all truth and sincerity, doing the work as Yahweh, bahasham, YAHAWASHI has created us to do. And with that, I'm going to say shalom, wa, abba, babah.